Food preservation methods, drying, smoking, and curing meats. Introduction. Why preserve meat? Meat preservation has been a crucial survival skill for thousands of years. Before modern refrigeration, indigenous communities and early settlers developed techniques to dry, smoke, and cure meat, ensuring a stable food supply through harsh seasons. These methods help prevent spoilage and bacterial growth, extend shelf life without refrigeration, enhance flavor and nutritional value, provide food security in emergencies or remote locations. This lesson covers drying methods for meat, fish, and herbs, building smokehouses and curing racks, preventing spoilage and common mistakes. Let's explore these techniques in depth. Methods of drying meat, fish, and herbs. Drying is the oldest and simplest form of meat preservation. By removing moisture, it inhibits bacteria and mold growth, allowing food to last for months or even years. Air drying, sun drying, and wind drying. Best for hot, dry climates. Works well for thinly sliced meats and fish. Requires good airflow and protection from insects. How to air dry meat. Cut meat into thin strips, 1/4 inch thick. Lightly salt the meat to prevent bacteria growth. Hang meat on a drying rack in direct sunlight with insect protection. Rotate meat to dry evenly, taking 2 to 5 days depending on climate. Best for wild game, deer, bison, fish, and herbs. Dehydrating over a fire, traditional method. Best for cold or humid climates. Used by indigenous tribes to make pemmican and jerky. How to fire dry meat. Cut meat into thin strips and remove fat. Fat spoils quickly. Place meat on a drying rack over a low, smoky fire, not direct flames. Keep the fire low, below 120 degrees Fahrenheit, 50 degrees Celsius, to prevent cooking. Dry for 12 to 24 hours, flipping meat occasionally. Tip: fire-dried meat can be pounded into powder and mixed with fat and berries to make pemmican, a high-energy survival food. Smoking meat and fish. Smoking preserves meat by removing moisture, adding antimicrobial compounds, and infusing flavor. Cold smoking, preservation smoking. Preserves meat for months, but must be combined with curing. Does not cook meat, but used for long-term storage. How to cold smoke meat. Salt and cure the meat first. Place meat in a smokehouse or enclosed smoker. Use low temperatures, 70 to 90 degrees Fahrenheit, 21 to 32 degrees Celsius, for several days. Best woods for smoking. Hickory, maple, alder, mesquite. Hot smoking. Cooking and preserving. Cooks and preserves meat at the same time. Shelf life 1 to 2 weeks without refrigeration. Longer if dried. How to hot smoke meat. Place meat in a smokehouse or over a fire pit. Use a temperature of 150 to 200 degrees Fahrenheit, 65 to 93 degrees Celsius. Smoke meat for 4 to 8 hours until firm and dark in color. Best for fish, poultry, pork, and game meat. How to build a simple smokehouse. A smokehouse is an enclosed structure that directs smoke from a fire pit to meat racks above. Simple smokehouse design. Dig a small pit and build a fire with green wood. Produces more smoke. Construct a wooden or stone shelter with ventilation holes. Run a tunnel or pipe to direct smoke from the fire to the meat racks. Keep the temperature controlled for even smoking. Tip: indigenous groups use teepee-style smoking racks, allowing the smoke to circulate freely while keeping meat protected from animals. Curing meat for long-term storage. Curing uses salt sugar, and natural preservatives to remove moisture and prevent bacteria growth. Salt curing, dry curing. One of the most effective long-term preservation methods, used for meats like bacon, ham, jerky, and pemmican. How to salt cure meat. Cover meat with a thick layer of salt, sea salt or curing salt. Store meat in a cool, dry place for several weeks. Rinse off excess salt before consuming. Tip: the longer the curing time, the longer the meat lasts. Brining, wet curing. Uses a saltwater solution instead of dry salt. Best for fish, ham, and poultry. How to brine meat. Mix 1 cup of salt per gallon of water. Submerge meat in the brine for 24 to 48 hours. Remove, dry, and smoke if desired. Tip: adding herbs, honey, or vinegar improves flavor and preservation. Sugar curing for bacon and ham. Adds sweetness and extends shelf life. Often combined with salt and smoke curing. How to sugar cure meat. Rub meat with a mixture of sugar and salt, 2-to-1 ratio. Store meat in a cool, dry area for 7 to 14 days. Rinse and dry before smoking or storing. Tip: honey and molasses can replace sugar for a natural cure. Preventing spoilage and common mistakes. Even preserved meat can spoil if not handled correctly. Signs of spoiled meat: slimy texture, bacteria growth. Foul odor, rancid fat. Green, black, or white mold, unsafe to eat. How to prevent spoilage. Store dried meat in airtight containers. Avoid moisture. Keep smoked and cured meat in cool, dark places. Avoid oversalting, which can make meat too hard to eat. Best practice: when in doubt, boil preserved meat before eating to kill bacteria. Conclusion: mastering meat preservation for self-sufficiency. Learning how to dry, smoke, and cure meat ensures a stable food supply without refrigeration. Air drying is the easiest method but requires dry conditions. Smoking adds flavor and preservation benefits but requires skill. Curing with salt and sugar extends meat shelf life for months.